So the cookie we're doing this week is ginger snaps. Those are a staple of Christmas in our household. What you need for ginger snaps is a little bit of white vinegar, molasses, baking soda, all-purpose flour, white sugar, ground ginger, of course. It calls for margarine, the recipe does, but you can, I'm sure, use butter if you'd like to. And 2 eggs, and I have the extra large sizes. So those are the ingredients that you're going to need. So first I blended the 2 cups of white sugar with 3/4 of a cup of margarine together, stirred them nicely, and I did not use the mixer, I just used my hand power. I added in 2 beaten eggs and mixed. Then I added a 1/2 cup of molasses and mixed. And then I added 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and mixed. Next, I'm going to do the dry. So I have a second bowl that I'm using for the dry ingredients. And the dry ingredients include 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of ginger, ground ginger, and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And you just mix those 3 items together, and then we dump it into our wet mixture and mix. So I've added the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients, mixed them, and it's not a dry batter, it's quite wet and moist, which is good. You could, if you wanted to, use your hands to mix it together. I did not. I just used my spoon. You're going to roll the dough into 1-inch balls, and you're going to put them on baking sheets, greased, or if you have parchment paper, that's fine as well. It calls for them to be rolled and dipped in white sugar. I did not do that because I plan on decorating after they're done. And there's so much sugar in them to begin with. I didn't feel that I needed more sugar on top. So I just left my balls plain. So I put my cookies in the oven. It's a 350 Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. I did not flatten my cookies. Usually when you roll those cookies, they always ask you to flatten them with a fork. Don't do that, just leave them rounded and they will flatten out, they will spread in the oven. And it should probably make about, depending on the size of your cookies, around 90 to 100. And once you bring them out, you're going to let them sit for a moment or two to cool, and then transfer them to a wire rack to continue their cooling. They're called ginger snaps, but they really don't snap. These are not dry cookies. They're not crisp. They're very moist. They're very chewy, which is, I think, the majority of my family prefers them that way. But they're really good. So these are the cookies once they're out of the oven. They've cooled a bit. And as you can see, they've flattened out. And they're all about the same size, which is great. And then because I didn't put any sugar, I didn't roll them in sugar before I put them in the oven, I decided I was going to decorate them afterwards. And I've just melted some white chocolate. I've covered the tops of them in the white chocolate, and then I put on some sprinkles. You can do whatever you want. You can leave them plain. So that is our ginger snap recipe, and I hope you enjoy.